to this Wednesday, November 7th edition of Westman Newsline. I'm Jordan Olson alongside Colton Yarich and Randy Joseph Lilly. In today's news, we'll bring you some highlights from yesterday's U.S. presidential election, as well as show you what one man has done to support the fundraising effort of Movember. And Colton will be in with sports. Colton, I understand there was lots of great news for Brandon sporting folks yesterday.
That's right, Jordan. The Wheat Kings of the Neelan Spartans female volleyball team scored wins, and a former Brandon Knight has been selected for a showcase game. I'll bring you all those details and more later on in sports.
Thanks, Colton. And Randy will be in with weather. Randy, it's pretty mild out right now, but I gather things are about to change, and not in a good way.
Hate to say it, Jordan, but you're right. It's that time of the year where we'll be consistently below zero, and we'll see some intense wind chills in the coming days. Currently in Brandon, we're experiencing light snow and -1 degree. Wind is out of the southeast at 11 kilometers per hour. That's it for now, but I'll be back with full weather details later in the show.
Thanks, Randy. It's been the most talked about and argued about and speculated about event for the last several days and weeks. But last night, all the guessing about the outcome came to an end with the re-election of U.S. President Barack Obama. It took his opponent, Republican Mitt Romney, a long time to concede defeat, but once he did, Obama took to the airwaves to deliver an impassionate victory speech. We'll have some highlights from both men's presentations in just a few minutes. But a little closer to home and on a much lighter note, Movember is upon us once again, and although it's already a week in, it's still not too late to join the cause. Even if instead of growing a mustache, it means shaving off a mustache you've had for 36 years. Wayne Jacobson, chairman of Health and Human at Assiniboine Community College, has had his mustache for most of his life, and to contribute to Movember and help out ACC with their Big Mustache in Brandon campaign, he'll be shaving his face to regrow his mo in support and will be also taking pledges as well. Westman Newsline asked him how he felt about getting rid of his 36-year-old mustache.
I suppose that makes it kind of interesting is the fact that there's only been one day in the last 36 years that I haven't had a mustache.
The local old-time barbershop, Bladeworks, came down to the college bringing along all the equipment needed to remove Wayne Jacobson's mustache and give him a hot shave as well. Also brought along some giveaways for the crowd that soon gathered to witness the shave-off. The month of November has been labeled as Movember since 2004, meaning all men who are interested have a month-long process of growing a mustache to raise awareness for men's health. Some even take pledges to donate to men's health awareness campaigns that specialize in the research of prostate cancer and colon cancer and men's mental health.
It's kind of nice being pampered. I don't know what it's going to feel like when I look in the mirror because I haven't done that yet.
If you wish to participate and to contribute to the Movember cause, you can visit the Student Association office where you can also pick up a pledge form to collect. The month will all wrap up with a shave-off at Houston. The Crown wants a man who sexually assaulted a boy and attacked a mentally ill woman to be declared a dangerous offender. If that designation is granted, Peter Laporte of Winnipeg could be jailed indefinitely. Laporte was found guilty in August of 8 criminal charges that were committed in 4 separate sex acts. The crimes happened between 2007 and 2008 inside apartment buildings. The Manitoba Crown contends that Laporte's long, violent criminal record suggests he would likely reoffend. The 36-year-old Laporte must undergo a medical assessment within 90 days. This fire could have cost way more than most. Workers at Royal Canadian Mint's facility in Winnipeg are cleaning up after a fire earlier in the week. The blaze broke out Monday in equipment used to test coin-making plates. Spokeswoman Christine Aquino says employees were initially removed from the building, but operations resumed within a few hours. The Winnipeg plant is one of 2 manufacturing facilities in Canada, the other being in Ottawa. North American markets are taking a post-election beating. Investigators are worried about what Washington will do about looming tax increases and government spending cuts. Stocks also dropped after the European Union warned that a broad recession there is all but certain. So now let's take a look at where today's money markets are currently sitting.
Westman Newsline, produced by the media production students of Assiniboine Community College. Local news, weather, and sports only on Westman Newsline, airing on WCG-TV at 1 p.m. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
4 more years for President Barack Obama. 12 hours ago, the president accepted the win from his home state of Chicago. That's where we find Renee Marsh at the Obama headquarters to wrap up the big night.
Let's now tackle unresolved issues like the looming fiscal cliff. But before getting back to work this morning, he celebrated his victory with his supporters here at his election night headquarters. An electrified crowd greeted President Barack Obama early Wednesday morning. He says he's ready for 4 more years.
And with your stories and your struggles, I return to the White House more determined and more inspired than ever about the work there is to do and the future that lies ahead.
His re-election comes after a nail-biting night of returns. The president defended his home turf and won several critical swing states, including Ohio, pushing him over the 270 electoral vote mark.
I want to thank every American who participated in this election.
He had been in a statistical dead heat with challenger Mitt Romney, who conceded the race Wednesday morning.
In the weeks ahead, I also look forward to sitting down with Governor Romney.
In the end, it was his true blue supporters the president thanked and praised.
Michelle, I have never loved you more. To the best campaign team and volunteers in the history of politics.
And to the voters, a promise for a better presidency.
We are and forever will be the United States of America. And together, with your help and God's grace, we will continue our journey forward and remind the world just why it is that we live in the greatest nation on earth.
Well, the official numbers still aren't back for the battleground state of Florida at this hour. Despite that, CNN projects that the president picked up more than the 270 electoral votes needed. Reporting in Chicago, I'm Renee Marsh.
Defeated Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney took to the stage just before midnight Brandon time to concede the race. He spoke briefly in a speech very different from the one only hours earlier he had planned to give. Emily Schmidt was in Boston for Romney's last campaign words.
Mitt Romney had said he had one speech prepared to give on that stage, an 1,118-word victory speech he had written but hadn't yet run past his family or his advisors. Instead, he gave a less than 5-minute speech in which he said he congratulated President Obama on his win. In the early hours after a long election day, Mitt Romney said he had called President Obama and the race was over.
I so wish that I had been able to fulfill your hopes to lead the country in a different direction, but the nation chose another leader, and so Ann and I join with you to earnestly pray for him and for this great nation.
The mood was a stark contrast to his announcement in June 2011.
I believe in America, and I'm running for president of the United States.
And to the crowds who welcomed him on a last-minute election day trip to the critical swing states of Ohio and Pennsylvania.
Thank you, thanks for your work. Gosh, you guys are fabulous. Thank you so much.
Neither state went Romney's way, making it impossible for him to pick up the 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency.
The nation, as you know, is at a critical point. At a time like this, we can't risk partisan bickering and political posturing.
President Obama congratulated Romney and Paul Ryan on a hard-fought campaign.
We may have battled fiercely, but it's only because we love this country deeply, and we care so strongly about its future.
Romney also talked about the country's future.
I believe in the people of America. And I ran for office because I'm concerned about America. This election is over, but our principles endure.
Now, after Mitt Romney spoke, he was joined on stage by his family and by his running mate Paul Ryan and Ryan's family. Romney had told reporters earlier in the day he hadn't given much thought to losing, though he said he had a family and a life important to him, win or lose. In Boston, I'm Emily Schmidt.
That's it for news, but stick around. Randy's up next with Newsline Weather.
Good afternoon. With Newsline Weather, I'm Randy Joseph Lilly. Don't get used to the temperatures we're seeing right now, as today could be the last day we see positive temperatures for quite some time. Currently in Brandon, it's -1 with light snow. The winds are coming out of the southeast at 11 kilometers per hour. This evening, expect a cloudy sky and a temperature around 3 degrees. I'd say enjoy it as we won't be above zero for a while. The winds will be out of the south at 15 kilometers per hour. Overnight will drop to zero. There'll still be a few clouds in the sky and winds should be out of the west at 20 kilometers per hour. Taking a look at our radar image now, you'll see there is a lot of precipitation across the prairie provinces. If you look at Brandon here, you'll see we're likely to receive precipitation in some form or another every day this week. Turning to the satellite image, note these heavy clouds moving in from the west. With any luck, they'll start to thin out by the weekend. And now our 5-day forecast. As I mentioned earlier, get ready for those minus signs as we're going to be seeing them for a while. We have highs ranging from 0 to -8, and lows will fall as far as -12 and -17 by the end of the weekend. With the wind chill, it'll feel more like a -5 for Thursday, -13 for Friday. On Saturday, it will be -11. -14 on Sunday, and although you see -17 down there for Monday, with the wind chill, it'll feel more like -19. Expect some snow on Friday and Saturday, as the probability of precipitation will be 70%. That's good news for you snowmobile types. Taking a look around the region, Winnipeg and Portage are both in at 3 degrees. Dauphin and Neepawa are both at 2. Carberry is at 0. Killarney is at 3. Minnedosa is at -1, and Verdun rounds us out at 2 degrees. The normal high for this date is +2, while the normal low is -8. The record high was set 63 years ago in 1949 when the temperature hit an almost tropical 18.3 degrees. The record low was set in 1971 at -26.7. Once again in Brandon, it's -1 with light snow. The wind is coming out of the southeast at 11 kilometers per hour. That's it for weather, but don't go away. Colton's up next with Newsline Sports.
Good afternoon with Newsline Sports. I'm Colton Yarge. The Neelan Spartans girls volleyball team defeated the host Vincent Massey Vikings in 3 straight sets, 25-11, 25-12, and 25-22 in the second game of the Brandon High School Volleyball League Finals. With the win in Game 2, the number 2 ranked team in the province, the Spartans, swept the Vikings 2-0 to win the city finals. The Lady Spartans will now head to Winnipeg for the Provincial High School Championships beginning November 16th. In men's action, the Vikings tied up their city finals best-of-3 series with a 3-2 win over the men's Spartans. The Vikings lost the first and third set, 19-25 and 24-26, but responded in the second and fourth set with a 25-20 win and a 25-21 win before taking the final and deciding set, 15-11. The third and deciding game of the series will be played tonight at Neelan. Game time is 7:30. Curtis Honey made no mistakes in the Wheat Kings net last night, backstopping his team with a 38-save performance, leading the Wheat Kings to a 5-3 win over the visiting Seattle Thunderbirds in WHL action last night at Westman Place. Honey's biggest save of the game came with about 5 minutes to go when he robbed Seattle of an open net goal, making a glorious glove stop. The Wheat Kings jumped out to a quick 2-goal lead with goals by Jens Mayer and Tyrell Seaman, who both broke goal droughts of over 10 games. John Quinville and Eric Roy also tucked for the Wheats, who seen the Thunderbirds come back to make it 4-3, but Alessio Bertaggia pocketed an empty netter to seal the deal for the home side. Riley Sheen, Luke Lockhart, and Connor Sanvito tallied for the visitors. The Brandon University men's volleyball team slipped 1 spot in CSI rankings to 7th after a weekend series with the Thompson River Wolfpack, which saw both teams each win a game. The Bobcats will now play the 3rd-ranked Manitoba Bisons this weekend at the Healthy Living Center. Meanwhile, the Lady Cats are making their way into the top 10 rankings, currently sitting at 11th spot after sweeping the weekend series with Thompson River. The Lady Cats will also play host this weekend to the Manitoba Bisons. Former Brandonite and current Winkler Flyers defenseman Tanner Jago has been selected to play in the Canadian Junior A Hockey League's prospect game this weekend in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia and Digby, Nova Scotia. Last year's MJHL Rookie of the Year, Jago has 6 goals and 13 points in 16 games with Winkler in this year's campaign. And Jordan, that's all for sports.
And that's all we have for you today. Please join us again tomorrow for Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline.